Why does the black man serve the white man? Why does everything the black man do benefit the white man? Why does the black man say freedom is doing what I want to do? And why is it that everything he wants to do enriches the European?
Welcome to the desert of the real.
We're going to get into a topic that I'm surprised we never really dug into.
True.
I have so much content on my channel, like on my YouTube and stuff, that sometimes I forget. I'm thinking that I've talked about stuff, but I probably just touched on it and never got into it.
Right.
So I have to go through my archives and say, oh, wow, I never touched on this before. So let's get into it. It's called Nationhood is Not a Spectator Sport. An individual cannot establish a nation for the collective of his or her people. Nations need individuals. Nations require people. So when JFK uttered the famous words, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country, we as Black African nationalists and African-centered progressives need to proclaim, ask not what your nation can do for you, ask what you can do for your nation. If you are not going to inject yourself, your energy, your passion, your dedication, your brain power, your analytical skills, your culture critique, and your time towards nationhood, then you don't need a PowerPoint presentation from the people that do. So that's what we're going to get into tonight. Now, I'm anxious to hear what your take is on this, because I got mine.
Well, I don't have one take because there's so much that you said in that paragraph. But let me attack the first thing, which is a nation needs individuals, and a nation requires people. Now, I think that if you look at it, we have been living here in America for so long, and we have learned to think like Americans for so long, that everything that we do, although we say it's unified and group, is pretty much individual. We operate as individuals. We think as individuals. We think about saving ourselves as individuals. We think about coming up as individuals, providing for our family as individuals. And the fact of the matter is that what people have shown is that the real Black African way for us as a people to do things is collectively and as a group. And unfortunately, people even take that out of context. But the fact of the matter is that although certain people, and we'll say this person is trying to, or this group is dedicated to building a nation, we're still thinking as an individual, because we will say things like, they're over there trying to do that, and I'm over here trying to do this. But the fact of the matter is that we need to start thinking as a whole. And so people need to look up the definition of nation, look up the definition of nationhood, and then look up the definition of individual. And I'll close my long-winded sprint by saying this. If you listen to a speech given by George Patton, the one that starts out the movie Patton, they lifted that speech, that famous speech from him. He said, this individuality is a bunch of crap. He talks about how the only way for America to beat the Germans in that particular war is to fight as a nation. See, this is something that we look at white folks and we sneer at. We try to say that they are the ones who don't know this. They are the ones that are individuals. But in all actuality, we have learned how to practice individualism, I think, better than they have ever. And that's the first thing that we have to eradicate.
Oh, you weren't even anywhere near long-winded. For real. You just scratching the surface.
Yes, sir.
I did want to say, I want to build on something. And I forget who it was, and I apologize, but somebody had made this point on one of the threads. I think it was on a YouTube thread. And basically he said that he thinks that a lot of the reason for the fear of nationhood is that a lot of Black people automatically default to like Davy Crockett or something. It's like they think that we're going to go be out there. You know what I'm saying? It's like they don't think that we have modern technological ways of building a nation. They think we're going to go back to the time when America first started, when we're going to be out in the woods taking a dump and stuff. See, this is the reason why I say you need to be a part of people of like mind building toward this goal. The BAIO is a perfect place for you to be. If you have these thoughts in your head of these old school, antiquated ideas of what nation building is, then you need to get into the BAIO group, get into the STEM group section, and learn about the technology, learn about the ways that how fast it is to build a nation compared to how it was hundreds of years ago, or even 20 years ago.
Right. And if I may add, because that's a beautiful thing to build upon, the whole Davy Crockett mentality. You know, I think that a lot of times when we look at our children, every last one of our children is bright. All of our children are bright. I think the problem sometimes in the path that they choose is that when they look at society and they grow up, they convince themselves that black people don't do this and black people don't do that. So in other words, when we're thinking about how to build a nation or raise a nation, and we're starting to think from the Davy Crockett level, which is, you know, being out in the woods, shooting skunks and, like, you know, hiding in treetops at nighttime with mosquitoes eating you alive, I think that scares the hell out of people, because all from our childhood we've been taught that black people don't really participate in engineering. Black people don't participate in technology, science, and mathematics. And like you just said, what y'all don't realize, the best kept secret is if you join the BAIO and you join the BAIO STEM group or any other group that we have, what you will see is this is to me, the finest collection of black men and women just sharing technology every single day. Sharing beautiful technology that you never thought existed. And the fact of the matter is if this technology is out there, some black person somewhere is contributing to it or working on it. So if we can gather those black people who are either contributing or working on all of these advanced technologies that are making things much easier to do, nation building is not going to be hard. The only thing that is going to be, I don't even think gathering the resources would be hard. The only thing that's going to be hard is collecting the individual. And that's the title of the show, which is, you know, basically nationhood is not a spectator sport. Because it's too many people out there standing on the sidelines, you know what I'm saying, and not getting involved. That's the hardest thing, is collecting people. And why do you think that is, brother?
Well, I think because people naturally like to lay back in the cut like peroxide. They just want to sit back and see what somebody else is going to do. And it's the same thing. Like if you've been watching, if you can stomach it, I know. I've been watching these the GOP and the DNC conventions, and the major message that they have in those conventions is about party unity and being involved. Like they say, the main thing that they say, especially in the DNC one that I've seen recently, is like, don't look for somebody else to do what you could be doing.
Right.
That's the message that they're sending out. It's like, why? If Bernie Sanders didn't get in, everything doesn't stop because Bernie Sanders didn't get in.
Right.
Maybe you could be a better candidate than Bernie Sanders. Maybe you can run on a local level. Maybe you can. The whole thing they're stressing is being involved. You know? And that's why I wanted you on this show as my co-host, because I know you can get into the nuts and bolts of this. And basically that's what I want to get into, is the mindset as to why people don't want to be, or people refuse to just inject themselves into the nationhood discussion. Because I've had it happen to me. I know you've had it happen to you, where people will say, why don't you just go to Africa? I'm like, well, yeah, I can do that. I can go to Africa. I can go to Brazil. I can go to Italy. I can go to a bunch of different places for a vacation.
Right.
What does that have to do with nationhood?
Right.
You know?
Indeed.
It's
Good
like
question.
they got it in their mind that going over to Africa means that you're a nationalist. No. Going over to Africa as a collective would mean you're a nationalist. Going over to Africa to establish an enclave would mean you're a nationalist. But just picking up as an individual and going into somebody else's socioeconomic and political context, that doesn't make you a nationalist. And as you can see, we've had stories, horror stories of people who decided to just go out on their own. And you see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not just about packing my bag. If I wanted to pack my bags and go to Africa, I could probably go this weekend.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's not what the goal is. The goal is to establish an enclave, have that enclave turn into a block, have that block turn into a neighborhood, have that neighborhood turn into a town, have that town turn into a city, and have that city turn into a nation state. That's the goal.
It is.
So looking and seeing what Minister DeWood is doing and what Mr. Holipsism is doing, it's sort of similar to, like, I made this about when people ask you, do you believe in God? It's really not about you believing in God. It's about them believing in God.
Right.
Because if you say yes, I do, then it's like, all right, yes, somebody else believes this with me.
Right.
If you say no, then it's like, oh man, what do you mean no? You don't believe in God.
Right.
It's all about them. It has nothing to do with you. It's the same thing with nationhood. It's like people always want to put you out there, but they don't want to invest themselves. And the funny part about it is, Minister, what are we requiring at this stage? We're not requiring you to get a backpack and go out there. No, but none of that is even a part of the equation. Just join people of like mind. Join other nationals. It's as easy as signing up to the BAIO website and just being a part and trying to find out what other people who are interested in nationhood are in your area. That's it.
Right.